Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to the SAP Press Book Club. And so I'm Kendall Tyler, your host, and we have a great book this time. It is called This Is As Unusual with SAP. And it is actually, it's written by two guys. However, we have one special author here today, which is Peter Maier. And he's from SAP. And Peter, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, and thank you so much, Kendall. My name is Peter Maier. I am basically in charge for the strategic projects at SAP for the customers in particular, and working in the office of the CEO. And since last year, until last year, I basically managed the industries and customer advisory organization. So when that party came up with the idea to create this book, Business as Unusual with SAP.
It's a great book. Great book. I have literally had the best time reading this because after you read the book, then you're all of a sudden, everything you do, you're like, wouldn't it be interesting if they did? And so then you start coming up with all these ideas of what the company should be doing in the future. You know, I'm like, at Starbucks, and I'm like, go driving through the drive-thru, and I'm like, boy, wouldn't it be really cool if my car could just pay and I didn't have to pull my wallet out? I just drive on through it, it clicks and pays, and all these crazy ideas I'm coming up with. But yes, so you have you actually were motivated to write the book together with Thomas Saueressig.
Yeah.
And now tell me, what got you guys going into this? I know that you were talking about it before, but tell me about how you two collaborated and came up with this.
Yeah, I think, thank you. I think we often discuss business and IT strategies with our customers. And the better we understand our customers, it's very simple, the better we can serve them with our enterprise computing solutions. So, and the most interesting conversations from my point of view happen when our individual customers plan to run their business differently or even want to run a different business as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So this is driven by their individual strategies, but also their opportunities they see in their markets. And if you zoom out one step, you will discover kind of that entire industries like, I don't know, retail or utilities or automotive are really exposed to trends that also influence and also transform the whole market. And the best business practices how to successfully operate in those markets. So it's important for us to really understand where the industries are moving. Because we build standard solutions, and that really enables these best practices, as I said, for entire industries. But it's no longer good enough to understand individual industries. We need to think beyond this. Think in industry ecosystems that forms these end-to-end value chains, and these go across industries boundaries. So when you drive home tonight, right? Let's get concrete. And you just said it, right? Just think about how many materials and components come from that making up your car. So you have steel, you have aluminum, you have paints, you have lubricants, and all kind of plastics, obviously, in the cars. And if you zoom out once more, you discover these megatrends that really influence entire value chains and also the ecosystems of these industries, as we talked about. So Thomas and I
don't you think that like these large companies that have been acquired and carved out, it's harder for them to move as fast as these new companies that just start up real quick. So they have to really think about how can they switch and change to a trend,
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think, the days are over that you really can plan for 2 or 3 years because at the end, you really need to react very fast. You need to be agile. And from that point of view, you need to provide the customers, they expect already, I would not call it the best practice are always the customers, but they need a common practice which they can really turn on very fast and then build on that and differentiate in the market. So 1 + 1 needs to make 3. And basically it's a completely new way and a new,
Nobody wants to be a Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's true.
Blockbuster stores.
You need to find it, right? You need to find what is really relevant. So these mega trends really also to make that concrete, they also move markets and industries. And that's where we see business as unusual today may become the industry best practice moving forward in a few years down the road.
Yeah. So how did you select the customers and partners that you mentioned, that you looked at for the book?
Yeah, so definitely I would say, first of all, many thousands of customers run their business as usual with SAP, right? It's not everything is now unusual. No, I think we estimate, I would say, around about 80% of all these business transactions around the cloud just touch at least one of these SAP systems. And they use the best practices to really enable the solutions with a variety of industries, from auto to insurance and whatever. You're right. And typical processes as normal, I would say, is custom orders, assembling cars, or developing new medicines, restocking supermarket shelves, etc., etc. So how did we come and how did we identify the trends was your question. And I think we routinely observing the market trends that really shape the business of our customers in their industries. And we use insights to really to shape our innovation portfolio and our customers' engagements, because seeing a trend is one thing. They really would like to see solutions for it. So for our book project, we picked actually 8 key trends and also discussed them in detail with customers, with partners, and also with analysts. So we could have selected a few more to be honest, Kendall, and more mega trends on the socio-economic side, like population growth, or also on the technology side, like artificial intelligence, which is obviously, I will come to that in a few minutes. So we decided to go for trends like circular economy is a key one, right? Long life health. So where there is a close connection between industries and it's not an or, it's an and the technology. So this is book primarily, I have to say, is for practitioners, not so much for academia. So we decided to be very hands-on and with our trend selection. Yeah.
Well, I liked the fact that you did like the utility. Some of those industries really haven't changed a lot over the years, where some have really just their whole footprints changed, but some haven't. And it's like, what happens if one of our crazy trends jumps into that stagnant industry? Are they prepared?
Yeah. No, I think Thomas and I am really practical people. So there's no point for us in discussing a meta trend, which really don't have a clear position, and also, a solution to help our customers to deal with the trend. So either to mitigate the risks, or even better, to capture a whole business opportunity.
Oh, I know.
That really emerges from that trend. So for each mega trend, we discuss with industries which are impacted in which way. And you're right, the speed is different. The speed is different per industries, right? In life science, it's really huge. Where, for example, in chemicals, it's a little bit slower. Or and here we need to assess which solutions from SAP in this case also will contribute, including partners and the ecosystem, to really effectively respond to trends. It's all about speed, and I think that is the big topic which we basically address. So giving you an example, right? How to move from selling a product to an outcome-based topic moving forward. The whole process, the whole way how you serve the customer is completely changing. So this is really a key example how we have did it and how we address that.
Okay, so I came up with one. I was walking down the hall of my house. I see the thermostat on the side. I was like, you know, we never know how much we pay until the end of the month. Wouldn't it be cool if the thermostats told me how much it was and then I could just hit pay or like be like, oh man, I've already spent. I could turn it down. I was like, but then the billing system would be a nightmare. And then I'm thinking of all the logistics of everything that would happen in order to do that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Actually, that's very interesting, right? You would like to see one bill at the end of the day. But there are so many services, products, whatever, you really don't care, right? At the end, you want to pay for a service moving forward. And I think that's a key trend, which actually goes, you know, you can take telco industries, you can take even chemical industries in the meantime. You can take the utilities industry meantime, where you have multiple sources of services on your bill. So that was really the way how we structured it, and we see that as a clear trend across the different industries.
But your book is titled Business as Unusual. So with SAP, so how do leaders navigate industry megatrends? So is there also a business as usual with SAP?
Yeah, sure. As I said earlier, I think I would say 80% of the processes, let's say an order to cash, or procure to pay, etc. These are processes which I would say to 80% we run the environment, the ecosystem with the business as usual. I would say not everything is now business as unusual. Nevertheless, you need to catch these 20%, which basically change the dynamics. Give you an example, the whole sustainability topic, right, is in a big way changing these ways. But again, it does not mean that everything is now unusual. It's basically, I would say 80% still as business as usual, but we need to bring in the new technologies, which is really changing the way how people did. And that's also, as you know, how we changed also the chapter and the structure of the book along the megatrends.
Yeah, I'm all into Signavio at the moment. I'm into business transformation mapping. That's my new thing. I'm like all into that topic now. I'm like, everybody should be doing that, you know. So.
But that's great. That's a starting point, right? In the past, you did not have a definition.
Never thought of that. Like, just put it in.
That's great.
No, I'm like, why are you just throwing that in? Oh my gosh, what you did 20 years ago is not what you're doing now. So no, it's like
that's a very good point, right? The data mining and knowing what the people are doing, defining the ideal process in a company, and not only in your company, also how it fits to the left and to the right of your company is really key moving forward, because you are not by your own anymore. Everybody is at least on the left. I hope you have a customer or you have a supplier which you need to make happy. So by definition, you are living and acting in an ecosystem, and think about the whole sustainability, which needs to manage this whole thing, the connectivity. And you're spot on. There are a lot of opportunities. Nevertheless, I think we should also not forget our accountability to manage the business as usual. You're spot on.
Yeah, because that makes companies more efficient. You know, if they know everything that's happening, and then they'll be ready to do like a new trend, and they'll be able to move and jump forward and be involved in it.
Absolutely. And I think we also discuss it later on a little bit, right? So whatever you hear on machine learning and AI and artificial intelligence, etc., from my point of view, that's all nice. I really would like to make sure that we can improve the bottom line, we can improve the top line of a company, or moving forward, we can improve, I would call it a green line. So I think technology is great, but I think as we spelled out also on the megatrends, and you see that on the structure of the book, that's also the reason why we have structured the book in that way, where business and IT technology really comes together.
I think it should always be together, to be honest, to make a company work. They need to talk, that's you know? True. So tell me, how did you pick your, How did you identify these trends?
Yeah, I think it's a difference where how you observe these trends. If you are outside, or whether you try to deal with it, right? We are basically invite our readers to take the perspective for someone who really thinks about how to deal with the megatrend and how to respond it effectively. So as I said we continuously looked at the market. We sensed, we listened to the market, what is really going on. And then we said, let's define eight of them. As I said earlier, we could have done much more. But I think that was the key way we looked at it, which are the common denominators which we have seen. And that was then also the method and the way how we have done that. We are inviting our readers to really take also the perspective of someone who thinks about how to deal with a megatrend and respond to it effectively, right?
Yes.
How to develop, for example, new customer pathways. I think that's a very important megatrend in many industries. And we really engage with customers also in completely new ways. And that's why we also have structured the book in that way. We ask our readers really to also imagine how to purposefully create a really horrible customer experience, for example, by making really great customer promises and then breaking them systematically. What will happen? What is the impact? So it's obviously that
was the Bojangles chicken sandwich, I believe it was. Yeah, that was a huge ordeal here in the US.
That's exactly right. And obviously,
I never had any. I was like, what do you mean? Promoted everybody was going to. Like, oh, great marketing ploy. Terrible delivery.
No. And I think that's obviously also doing the opposite, maybe a great thing to do. And now we can just discuss what it really takes to make relevant customer promises and actually not making the promise. I think that's easy. Keeping it and deliver it, right? So we have heard really good feedback also on the structure. We have taken it different. And this method really allows our readers also to engage with the trends in innovative ways. Yeah.
I mean, even down to like, it can change by country. The trends are based on this country's population might be different. So that trend, it might be workforce or, something happening or, just things happen.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
They're not going to happen all the time, but right now, something different outside the box.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you started with utilities, right? As one example. And you take the evolution on the, let's say on the sustainability side. If you make the comparison, for example, in Europe compared to North America, absolutely. I think in this case, the transformation due to also political reasons started here earlier. You now look into the US, typically, right? If the US goes from zero up to crazy numbers, right, on the investment side. So I see that just as a natural step, evolving, moving forward. Same on the oil industry. The whole transformation is somehow different in Europe. It started a little bit earlier. Now I see that really visiting a lot of customer sustainability, also in the oil industry, in the utilities industry, in the chemical industry, all over the place, will dramatically evolve now in North America. And you have to serve these customers, which you serve today. Unless you have nothing to offer moving forward, then you should not do it. But I have a very clear different opinion on that. Absolutely.
Excellent. So what is SAP's role in helping your customers in their industries deal with the megatrends?
Yeah, I said, as I said earlier, SAP actually is assessing the different megatrends.
Yeah.
Then I think we are basically taking that approach and we are assessing the industries. And then we are saying, what kind of capabilities do we need to deliver from an SAP's point of view? What kind of capabilities do our partners deliver to really make that end-to-end solution available? And then obviously we provide the architecture and the openness to make that happen. But as I spelled out, we really took a very pragmatic approach where we basically wanted to make sure that not outlining a mega trend, we definitely want to have the solutions ready already to cover the priority, number one, or having a very clear plan how to address it. Example, sustainability. Sustainability, you, me, SAP, I don't know, you can take a Microsoft, you can take all different tech companies. We will not manage that together. We all need to join forces there and really help our customers and our people to improve people's lives. So it varies from megatrend to megatrend. You said it, it varies from industry to industry. It varies from region to region. But with a global player like we really need to adapt it and stay on top of it.
I totally agree with that. Now, in the opening chapter, you invite the reader to engage in a thought experiment for each of the megatrends. So why did you choose this method?
Yeah, we basically, as I said earlier, right, we basically had the option to come up with a megatrends for each of the industries. And you say this industry and this industry, this industry. I basically also said we had to restructure it. We basically said we need to do it along the trends, because the industries are big time, as I said it, they are blurring, right? From that point of view. It will be not anymore this industry and this industry and this is, they will blur. So from that point of view, that was the key reason why we have picked this structure also. And I think it was key to also to restructure the book in that way. So you can basically now take a mega trend and you basically can get started, right? You can go now through the different topics. You can scan through it, through the different chapters, and then jump to the mega trends where you actually get the details. And I think that's a completely different way how we structured it. You can start with 8 and then you can go deep, rather looking now to 25 or 30 industries, then search it around. So we really got a very good feedback
I liked it.
on that, how we have done it. You can go to your coffee shop in the morning. You start with one mega trend.
Yes, let's do that one. Let's do that one mega trend. So let's have that example. So tell me about, let's explore that one. The coffee. I loved that example.
The coffee example, which you have said.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah, I
everything
think,
as a service.
Yeah, everything as a service, right? I think the reader really find it successfully implementing this change by the design of how we have done it. And I think it's also clear that selling coffee machines as a service is really changing a big way, is a wide range of business process and related business and also solution capabilities. So we basically found out very clearly that it's different if you sell now a coffee machine or, and I think you elaborated to that example, we basically use the manufacturer of premium coffee machines who is basically and has the idea to sell a delicious cup of coffee instead of the coffee machine. And I think this is cool. A new way how we do it. I think we started a little bit with the outcome-based business. This is a very good example. You really don't care what goes into the coffee and how much and this and that. You just want to have what? It's a delicious cup of coffee. So this is also the outcome-based business, right? And I even could go further, right? I really can do now a quiz with you in a big way. How much liter water goes, for example, in a cup of coffee? Think about it, right? How much, if you take the whole transportation of the beans, etc., how often do they move from one country to the other until you have it in your coffee machine? So we don't stop only. Obviously, you have only your experience with the coffee, with the delicious coffee, but the whole supply chain, how the coffee, how the water consumption, which goes into whole sustainability, is really changing in a big way. And this is a key trend which we see. We make it easy for you. You have your
Right.
consumption on the coffee, but guess what? There's a huge supply chain, a huge sustainability topic on that journey. If I'm not mistaken, more than
And water you can't control. The taste of the water coming into everybody's house. How do you know, that's different. Change your coffee.
That's exactly right. So yeah, it's really a completely change of business. It's really yeah, as we said, coffee machines as a service, changes to the variety of business processes, and also related business and solution capabilities. You need completely new capabilities. Yeah, but we also talk normal customers where we have ABB, we have Signify, we have, you know, where the classical power by the hour business model of an aircraft or turbines like Rolls-Royce or GE. I think we took all different kind of examples, but use of the coffee machine, because that's a thing you can see every day.
Yes.
And every time you make yourself a cup of coffee or you go to Starbucks.
Drive through and you just thinking,
wow.
Hey, never have to pull anything out. Thank you for my coffee.
And this is
why hasn't anybody thought of that?
SAP, yeah.
In the cars, guy, put it in the cars. So let's talk about, you know, we talk about businesses all the time and how it affects, but let's talk about how this affects you. So I heard somebody has a hobby.
A hobby.
Yes. I guess it's an obsession, maybe. Tell me about how business is unusual, maybe has affected like megatrends that impact us on a personal level. So what touches you personally? I know you do something.
What touches me personally?
What kind of hobby do you do all the time? Think about it. Did you run?
I play trumpet.
You play trumpet.
That's not what you wanted to hear, right?
I'm like, trumpet? What? No, that's not what you do. Well, I don't know. You're German. Maybe you Germans do that over there. I'm not sure.
No, I do. I obviously, yeah, I am doing a lot of running and a lot of sports. Yeah, I have to say it changed in a big way. If you look at today, I don't wear it, but normally I have my Apple Watch on.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you compare how much of the technology you wear in the meantime here at your arm, basically more than in a hospital you have in the max attention room, for example, right? What you have kind of.
Have you seen the rings? Have you seen the ones that are rings?
No, I have not seen that one.
Oh, it's a ring, and it does the same thing a watch does, but it's an actual ring. It looks like a wedding ring, and you wear it.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that's one of the key things which have changed in a big way. So there is a lot of different behaviors, right? It's basically completely changing the way how you behave, right? It's basically you track it, you look at your performance, etc., etc. I don't do it so much, I have to say, but there are a lot of people where they just take that watch, how the technology will enable a completely different behavior. And that's now.
And it was a trend. It's a trend. The watch is a trend, but it changed your life and your behaviors.
Absolutely. And you know what? I see also the trend, we haven't talked about that, there is so much which I call it the normal business can learn from sports.
Yes.
There is so much. I have, for example, a lot of conversations also with soccer teams, how they basically equip their players to track the performance, how much do they run, how do they defend, how do they play offensive, etc., etc. Which is really, there is so much technology in the meantime out there, which you really can make relevant for the people. People working in a mine, for example, people doing asset management. So there's so much commonality where one trend is starting, for example, in sports. I take sports because a lot of people do sports. You ask me for the
because you can they do how high you kick and ball and all.
Yeah. And there is always, you know, this I will not call this best practice, but these common practices are around. You just have to find a way where they are, and then you make it super fast relevant for the people. And it's a completely new way moving forward. In the digital economy, I'm absolutely convinced we need to
That's
be
a good idea.
We need to be much more agile moving forward.
Yes.
We have to also work together with the competition if we want it or not. And not only when we do the projects, I have to say, or our customers when they do the projects.
If there's no room for space, make some.
Absolutely. And I also see a big trend. You also need to share IP. In the past, you always felt this has to be your own IP, right? In the digital transformations which we run right now, and with this speed and with this agility, companies, from my point of view, need also be ready to share what they are doing in order to continuously and improve in a much faster way. So that's I know it was a long answer, but I like your example. Obviously I have not been happy with my trumpet playing, and I am sure you will not like it. If we meet next time, I can practice it a little bit, and I give.
I thought it was one of those things, those things that you play, they're like little accordion things in Germany.
The small accordion thing. Accordion, yeah. No, I
what are those things? Oh, there's little things that there's. Never mind. I'm thinking German little like dancing things, whatever. Not the.
Yeah.
Too funny. Okay, so let's open it up for some questions.
But I have another one, right?
Oh, you do? What?
Yeah, because you asked me on this technology, right? And I have to say there is a lot of noise right now also. Yeah, recently, actually, I have to say and you see how fast the world is changing. When we basically finalized the book, the whole topic of ChatGPT was around, obviously, no doubt. But I think it got hugely momentum, right? So I just, when you talk about how will that impact you, I definitely would like to name that. I would say today, I think we experience that big hype around the generative AI. And this has been in research for many years. Yeah. But now, especially these days, the last few weeks, right, ChatGPT is showing the world the potential, how this technology really, when we can be trained, and when you are trained with huge data sets, which ChatGPT is all about. And the training data sets, they are really the magic component in the future. So we are working on integrating, for example, proprietary SAP data to better support our customers in using our solutions. For example, I don't know, with best practices, process designs, business benchmarking, as you start also in your company with Signavio, right? As one. And then there's a lot of data, additional value, which will come from training generative AI systems with what? With customer-specific data. So business people can ask simple questions moving forward, like, what's our most profitable product? Or which supplier should I order this component from? What's the difference? Today, you need to know how to use an ERP system. You need to know that, right? Tomorrow, you can imagine you will get great answers in a casual discussion with a generative AI system that has been trained with terabytes of structured and unstructured data and proprietary business data. So I think that is the way, so how business and technology innovation work hand in hand. I think you said it very nicely, should go always together. And to understand the next business practice enabled by the technology. And I think we are really at a great starting point with ChatGPT. What kind of new capabilities we will have moving forward in that area.
I know. And if you think about it, like you just, the Innovation Awards finalists that were announced, I think it's so interesting how people are literally trying to think forward. That's the whole thing. My biggest thing is like, think outside the box. what might happen, what situation might happen that you're going to encounter that you need to be prepared for. You know, don't be just like, it's not going to happen. It might happen, you know?
Absolutely. And there is one aspect which we have not discussed yet, right? What I am observing in a big way, which the book also addresses, it's about the people.
Yes.
You can have the nicest megatrend, you can have the nicest technology, you can have the most secure system these days. And I would say a lot of people are saying, you know, you need to take the people on your journey.
Yes.
I have a different opinion. This
What
is
that?
not enough. This is
It's
not enough. This is not enough. You need motivated people. You need
oh my
people
God.
to get them on, right? It's not, you know, I'm always saying sometimes you really can repair the shoes while they are walking. That is not enough. They have to be motivated. They need to, the business today in that unusual world, we need to show progress every half a year towards the business with the technology. The projects, the days of 1 or 2 year projects are over. We need to show much more progress continuously and embed and include the business. If you don't have a motivated business supporting these transformations, they most likely will not be successful. And I think that's also a new way how we see that, which we also address in the book, how it will look like and how we address that in the business as an unusual world moving forward.
So
I don't know, I hope that helps.
Oh yeah, well, so here's the funny part. So my biggest thing is like, I've been doing SAP for 30 years. So I was around when we first started implementations.
Yeah.
And SAP was fun. It was exciting. The projects, everybody was all excited. Yes. And then it just kind of got boring. We all just kind of hung out. So now I'm like, let's make it exciting again. Hey, all these things are happening. It's a business transformation. It's a whole new project. It's not just, you know, upgrade kind of situation. It's something new. It's different. There's all these different things. So let's get educated. Let's learn. Let's be involved. And that's how this whole book club is about, is everybody here wants to know what's going on, you know.
This is super interesting, right? It's super interesting. I get so many, I'm more than 2.5 years now at SAP, right? As you can see. What motivates you every day? Why are you so motivated? I said, guys, it's so simple. If you talk to companies, if you talk to big companies, small companies, if you talk about how they need to be connected in the network, if they want to change their business model to be more resilient and to have more sustainable solutions moving forward, this is not just talking commodity. This is really talking their future, how they make money today and in the future. This is so exciting. Let's roll up the sleeves. Absolutely. Yes.
Be involved.
Yeah.
Be involved.
Be engaged. Be in the stadium. Be on the pitch.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I have so many times where I'm like, hey, look at this. And everybody's like, what is she doing now? Reading to animals again?
Yeah. No,
you
you're
have
right.
to admit that was pretty funny. All my animals I read to. So let's see. Okay, everybody. So if you have any questions, please message them in and we will get them over to us and we'll get Peter to answer them. So let's see, here's one. Okay. What roles at SAP, what roles at SAP customers will find the most value in the book leadership? IT practice leads, business process owners? That's a good one.
I would say it's mainly for the business people. It starts with the business people. What are the key trends? Nevertheless, I think we worked also on the topic, not only on the what, also on the how, right? We basically, as I said, it is written for practitioners, where we basically also have a very clear translation. So it could be for business people, number one, but also COOs, CEOs, and then also for the people who need to make it happen. We obviously do not go on the very low level on the infrastructure, etc. But we basically focus a lot on the translation between the business trend and how to make how to make it happen. So it's for business, for line of business people, and I would say for higher management on the IT side.
If you don't have the business on board,
and
a lot of times it's really hard.
Yeah, I think you would have been annoyed with me if I would say the book is only for IT people, right? I said, well, what are you talking about? No,
Yeah, what?
clearly not. Clearly not. And also the partners, right? The implementation partners, the
yes,
analyst was key. Therefore, we basically included the feedback from the partners as well.
You know, it's funny because when a lot of these companies are going to do like a new project, and they have their usual employees that are all around them, like talking about trying to get motivated. So they're all been hanging out forever. Once the contractors come in, there's the ones supposed to be motivating and exciting them. And hey, look at all these different things. I've done it here, I've done it there, and all these ideas. And then that starts kind of sparking a lot of people to start thinking. So I think that contractors, the consulting firms, the partners, whatever we want to call them, are very much a motivator too.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're spot on, right? You can write a nice book, that's all fair. But as I said earlier, and Thomas also has a clear view on that, we will not be successful SAP only, right? We definitely, in order to scale based on the demand, it also doesn't help us if we tell our customers A and the partners tell B or C.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It just raises confusion.
Yes, it does.
We basically started now with a trend. We bring it down to the product, and then obviously also the partners. Therefore, we wrote the book also together with the key partners, that we are not having, he said, and he said, but that we basically have it together. Is there a lot of different options now moving forward? Obviously, yes. But I think we have taken that first step now, which was really great. And it's key for every transformation, usual or unusual. It's key that we talk about that we give one message towards the customer.
Yes,
otherwise, I think it's no speed. Otherwise, you have no speed.
No, exactly, because then the customer is very confused. They don't know what to do. They're sitting around hanging out, and they won't move. And then something happens to their business, and then because they weren't agile enough.
Yeah.
So we have, let's see. We've talked a lot about business as unusual with SAP. How do you see the technology angle? Is there also technology as unusual?
Yeah, I would say, I think I talked about in detail already on ChatGPT. I think I gave you that in detail. I think definitely, and I think we touched briefly on it. The technology is a business enabler. At least that's how I look at technology. And I know there are people who are solely looking at technology, but business and technology live in a symbiosis. So each time, and also the new technology comes up, people will look at the way to use it and to run their business better. I mean, that's why we are here. Or also to develop a new business based on this technology. So it could be improvement, or it could be a completely new business. From my point of view, I am more looking towards bringing the two things together. I give you an example. If you look at GPS, right? GPS went either fully operational, I would say around about 30 years ago, to serve what? To serve the military. Right. And I'm pretty sure that going treasure hunting with your kids or pizza tracking delivery in real time on your phone wasn't high on the list at the time in 1993, right? It's true. Now the new technologies always inspire the business, and sometimes it goes the other way around. So we could save a lot of money if we could predict, for example, when a machine needs maintenance, when an engineer needs to come in. All these kinds of sensors, algorithms get really developed to analyze machine data, to identify maintenance requirements, how to integrate a service company, how to basically do the whole predictive, how to ensure the sustainability of the whole topic. So to net it out, for me, technology is very clear, a business enabler. as I said it, to improve top line, or moving over super clear the green line.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think, to be honest with you, I think this has changed everybody. The cell phone, it's like totally game changer, every company, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one I think that was, nobody thought of that. We didn't think of that. I mean, can you imagine us thinking that about 20 years ago? We'd be laughing. Is everybody with a cell phone? We have bag phones in the car.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But no, we never would have thought. But so how do you keep innovating without becoming detached to the goal of the company?
You mean as a customer or as a company?
It didn't say.
Yeah, we have. Can you repeat the question again?
It said, how do you keep innovating without becoming detached to the goal of the company? Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like being so like, we're going to do this and that, but the goal of the company is really not this and that.
Yeah, I think it's always key as a company. I give you two examples. I can give you the customer, but also on our side. I think as we talk here, customer in the market, I'm always giving the advice towards the customer. You have to have your North Star architect. You need to have your North Star architecture. What do I mean that, right? You need to bring these two things together to be like the business and IT. And then you have somewhere here, you have your North Star. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be in finance? Where do you want to be in procurement? Where want to be in the whole ecosystem, how you manage that ecosystem, right? You need to align this with your business priorities. That's priority 0.
Okay.
Then you need the full transparency of your supplier. The companies will not have any more 10, 15, 20, 30 suppliers. What we see in a big way is the rationalization of the portfolio moving forward. What is then key? You need to keep this North Star always in mind, what you want to achieve. What you will have on the IT side, you always have these disruptions which are coming on, or you have like with machine learning, with AI, you have new technologies which can help you to get you faster to your North Star.
HANA was a big game changer. Whew.
Yeah, so sometimes they are completely disruptive, right? But at the end, it's always key that you have to have your North Star in mind and your architecture, which you want to do. If you don't have these two things together, a lot of companies forget the architecture which is required, which obviously includes the technology. If you ignore that, you will not scale your company. You will be happy for a year or for half a year, but then you most likely start from scratch with something new. So you need to be aware, where do you want to make your money today and in the future? And then embed the technology, but see the technology as an enabler versus something completely separate. And obviously then there are the whole disruptions coming across, right?
Yeah.
Like what we have right now with ChatGPT. I know there's a lot of noise, what is discussed, but definitely ChatGPT will find the home in our life and the life in business and all the life in IT. We have it at school, right? How the kids are getting trained and how they use it and how the teachers should behave and all that kind of topic. Definitely will change. So we need to make up our mind. How will ChatGPT involve my business moving forward? And not only in my company, also outside the company, including the customers, including suppliers. There, we most likely have the biggest benefit of new technologies. And I don't want to hammer on ChatGPT now always, right?
So but how do you, so like a big technology firm, like SAP, I mean, I would think that would be very difficult to manage what you're talking about, because you are trying to get, move the needle over to, new things that would influence a lot of people, or, do you work with your customers and say, hey, what are you looking at to do? And that might influence something that might influence, like, hey, all these customers could do that kind of.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, I'll give you the ideal solution. Obviously, the ideal solution is that you, like in the 3 days, on the 100 days or whatever, right? Where you basically, you listen to the demand of your customer.
Mm-hmm.
Not only one customer. I'm not saying you listen to your customer, you listen to the market. It's a big difference, right? I can make one customer happy, which is super important. But I'm here to make sure that with the SAP stands for standard solutions in this case, right? We really want to make sure we deliver a solution which we can apply and which can adopt it by hundreds and thousands of customers, right? So that is one way how we did it, right? But then you have dedicated areas like machine learning, AI. It was also new for us at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So we basically have this incubation way, how we do it. We always do this with customers. We always validate it with partners. We always validate it with analysts before. Does it make sense? How to do it? Having one customer is easy.
Yeah.
Having 100,000 of customers,
it's hard.
Much, much more difficult, right? Because we need to scale it. We need to make sure it's secure. And from that point of view, in order to do that in the right way, yeah, you have these blockbusters, but then you have the technology which you always need to do along the customers. And that's how we do it. Again, not for the sake of technology, how to improve the bottom or the top line or the green line or the whole business model of the customer. So it's a mixture. It's not an either or. It's a combination. And also we know we stand for the end-to-end processes. We stand to support the people and how to improve the people's life, including sustainability and the business networks.
Definitely.
So
well, I think also with SAP, you've got small businesses, large businesses, multi-businesses, global businesses. You know, you've probably got businesses on the moon for all we know. I'm just kidding. It's just, they're everywhere.
But it's different now, right? It's different 10, 15, or let's say 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the companies started from scratch.
Yes.
Now we have these examples. We have in total we have 400,000 customers.
Yeah, wow.
And so from that point of view, there are so many experiences which we have, which we basically can now where we productize the experience in the product, which we now can bring. We started with agility. We started with resiliency. That means best practices. That means common practices. That means security. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what we have aligned now. So it's a different way, a different speed. That takes time and that takes energy and a lot of work and hard work. You need to roll up the sleeve. You need to take off the jacket for that. Yeah.
You know, also with like business in the future kind of situation is also the employers that you're employing. You've got to make sure that they're, you know, the mindset of the kids nowadays is not the mindset that we have.
No.
You know, so is that going to change your business? Probably, you know, you got to be kind of prepared for that too.
Yeah, you're also, the hiring is completely different, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm also having 2 daughters at home, right, who are basically on the way to find their home in the business, and it's interesting how they approach it. It's does not apply now for my daughters necessarily, but the people the young talents do not want to work necessarily 16 hours per day and so many years. They also want to have fun. They want to have the differentiation.
Yes.
Like to have the more the social
time off.
right? They are used to work from home. It's a big change. You're right. On the other hand, I'm also supporting a lot of young talents. It's super excited to give the network, to give the experience, how they have done it. So they are really hungry to learn and to adopt it moving forward. Also, it's different across regions. In Europe or in Asia or in US, I just came from Australia, the way how the questions are completely different, also from a regional point of view. So it's not, especially since the pandemic, right, where most of us at home, you had to know where is Kendall right now? Where is she in India or is she in Latin America?
Nobody knew. They blurred their backgrounds. You didn't know where they were.
Of course. Yeah.
I was like, where are you? And they're like, I'm at home. I'm like, you hear things and be like, you don't sound like you're.
Yeah. No. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are so welcome. But thank you, everyone. This has been a pleasure, and I really enjoyed this, Peter. And everybody, make sure you come to Sapphire and check out Peter.
Absolutely.
He'll be there. Hopefully, he'll be talking about this topic again, and so that everybody can hear more about this. I know we had over 1,000+ people sign up for this, and so this will be on YouTube, and SAP Press will send it out. And also, don't forget, I always do this, Book Club 15% off using Book Club 15. Everybody get their books out and make sure you pick up a copy of this. And so I was laughing, Peter. I said, if I bring my book to Sapphire, will you sign it?
Absolutely. You get a special signature on the front page and the back page.
Too funny. So thank you again. And we look forward to seeing everybody at Sapphire. And thank you so much. And thank you, SAP Press. Bye.
Thank you so much. Danke. Bye-bye.